Welcome to the Healing Practice Podcast, a space for navigating the natural seasons of womanhood and personal growth. Hosted by Claire Cleaver, author, counsellor, and practitioner, this podcast explores the key stages of womanhood, from the first bloom of puberty, through fertility and birth, to the powerful transition of perimenopause and menopause. Drawing on years of experience supporting women and families, Claire shares practical insights and reflective tools designed to restore balance, release what's been held, and support emotional and physical well-being. This podcast is about listening, understanding, and walking your path with greater clarity and compassion. Wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here.
Thank you for joining me today. The theme of this podcast is surviving the 2-week wait. And so sometimes people abbreviate that and go TWW, but I think it will just say the 2-week wait. It's surviving that period, and that is a very hard one for a woman to sit with because she's waiting to hear if her lovely little egg has fertilized to the next stage. So in that period of waiting, there is so much pinned on the positive result. And so a woman's mind is seesawing between it won't, it will, it won't, it will, it won't, it will. And it's not like the little daisy. Maybe you did that as a girl. When we had daisies, you picked off the little petals of a daisy. He loves me not, he loves me not. I don't know if little girls do that anymore in the playground, but it's the same sort of thing, the cliffhanger experience of waiting. And when you're waiting for something that has such ramifications, such consequences for your future, it is extremely weighty. And so this is to acknowledge that waiting period, but also to give you a couple of resources that can help you literally survive it. So you aren't like that. You aren't on battle stations all the time. You aren't super sensitive to the slightest tone or comment or anything that's happening between your partner or your friends or people on the phone. You aren't inventing slights that aren't meant to be slights, that you are not overly sensitive and hypervigilant to anything that's disturbing this fragility of surviving. So, of course, the most obvious method to help you is, wait for it, breathing. Breathing. Because when you're in a state of hypervigilancy, aroused, your breathing is held. You are stopping yourself from breathing, from feeling anything. That's why breathing is at the top of the list. And so there are many breaths, and this is one of the therapeutic breaths that's used. And it can be a little bit tricky. So often I will suggest to a client that you start with a simple breath, like a box breath. So we're going to do the box breath first. And as you can imagine, the breath is equal on all sides in terms of the in-breath, the hold, and then the out-breath. Although that makes it sound like a triangle, but it's called a box breath. And then we'll lead into the other breath, which is breathing in for 4, holding for 5, and breathing out for 7. And there's variations on that. And the point is not to be fixated on the numbers, because you're already fixated on this internal state of waiting, anticipation. So it's not useful to become fixated on the numbers. So let's start. So I'm just going to do it first, and then the next one we'll do together, or you'll do it in your own time. So you breathe in for 4, I'm going to hold for 4, and then I'm going to breathe out for 4. And we're actually using our nose, it's not so much our mouth. So if that bothers you, then of course use nose and mouth, whatever is more comfortable for you. And here I say, I'm breathing in, holding, and breathing out. I am breathing out through my mouth. I told a fib. But you can actually breathe out through your nose. Makes for a different breath. So I'm going to try nose breathing all the way. So breathing in through my nose for 4, holding for 4, and out my nose for 4. Breathing in, holding. So now it's your turn. It's important to try the difference because the mouth out breath is a lot easier to do. it feels initially more comfortable, but the nose exhalation is actually a lot deeper, and you'll have a more profound relaxation experience inside of you if you aim to breathe through your nose. Okay, so let's try it together. Are you ready? So breathing in, hold, and breathing out through the mouth. So it's just a soft breath, it's a soft mouth. And then this time we'll try it through the exhalation through the nose. So let's start breathing in, holding, and out. Good. Notice how you feel. I think it's a lot more relaxing through the nose. And what happens, so sometimes people go, oh, I don't know how to breathe out through my nose. Fair enough. But what it feels like is when you breathe out through your nose, it almost feels like a soft hushing through the back of your throat. So as you're hushing through the back of your throat. So if you're not sure, then just experiment with it and see how it goes. So the 4-box breath is that you would do at least 4 cycles of that. So let's just try that. We'll see. It doesn't take too long, but we'll try that. So this is about showing you a method that can help. So sometimes just to do it once is great, but not really enough. You need to do it at least twice or full benefit 4 times. So let's do that. And you choose whether you're exhaling through your mouth or whether you're exhaling through your nose. But do notice the one thing that I do need to mention, the purpose of the hold is really important. So because your breath adjusts itself and the out breath is something that we can work with, whereas the in breath is automatic and the out breath is under our control, so to speak. And so at the end of the out breath, you'll notice a very slight pause before you get to breathe in. And again, at the end of the in breath, we're doing that hold. There is that natural inclination to just pause as well, but we're simply extending it in that hold of roughly 4 counts. And your count of 4 is your count. It's not somebody else's. It's not like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's not like that at all. It can be quite quick. It can be, we're not going to say cheating, 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be quick, it can be slow, it can be what works for you. So let's go. We're going to do 4 rounds of that. When you're ready, let's starting now. I'm on my 2nd round. I'm closing my eyes. I'm holding, breathing in my 3rd round, holding, breathing in my 4th round, holding, and breathing out. And just sit with that a moment, eyes closed, eyes open, up to you. Coming back to the space, to the room where you are, and just checking in and see how you feel. So I feel good. So that's a really lovely invitation back to yourself. And my voice has deepened. And that's what happens when you do some breathing. It really calms you. It allows your airways to be more open. Your respiratory system has been oxygenated and there is generally more airflow going on. That is very much a gift giving back to yourself. Okay, so that's an easy breath. Do it once or twice, and that's the box breath. The box breath was a breath used as a resource to give to people who are seeking any kind of psychological counselling service, but also it was used in the armed forces as well for the combatants to calm themselves into a state of readiness for battle. So in order to calm down the adrenaline and the cortisol, getting all psyched up and ready, and then this breath was specifically used to counter that rising wanting to move and get going so that the person, the combatant, could be calm in their mind before they launched themselves into battle or whatever they were about to do. So that's how it's used in that respect as well. So this next breath is the 4-5-7 breath. The breath lengths are extended and the breath in for 4 is quite easy to do. The hold is a little bit longer, but the breath out is intentional that the longer you can breathe out, the more you're letting go of carbon dioxide specifically. So let's just play with that once. And this is what it looks like. So just do it with me. So breathing in for 4, hold, and breathing out. Okay. So notice what you felt in that breath. There are little differences. The breath in is the same, the breath hold is the same. And so sometimes when you're doing a longer breath hold, you almost lock your breath, lock your chin a little bit into your throat, and then that locks the breath hold. That's very much a yoga approach. Also in meditation, you lock it there to hold, and then you softly, you should feel that breath out all the way from your nose, all the way, if you can, all the way down to your pelvic floor. So if you're doing it slowly, so it's quite a nice connection through from here, right there. So let's just play with it one more time to see how that feels for you. So again, up to you, mouth breath or nose breath. The nose breath is much more of a controlled breath, and there is a lot more going on than there is with the mouth breath, but either is fine depending what suits you. So here we go again, breathing in and hold, lock if that works for you, and breathing out. Good. Whew. So I'm feeling pretty relaxed. So that's that breath. And that breath, the box breath will do it as well, very much is a nervous system reset. And it is extremely helpful. You'll feel like, oh, you feel more open, you feel more broad through your lungs, through your bronchioles, through your respiratory system. And your heart has just done a lovely calming down. That's the kind of breath response that you do want when you're going through the tension, the terror of the 2-week wait. So practice that, even if it's just once or twice, and then notice how you feel. And the noticing how you feel is what will bring you back to that breath again and again to use as your go-to resource. So the other resource that I wanted to share with you was how to imagine a safe space visualization. And I must say, I do have this in my book, The Path to Fertility, a guided journal, this massive journal which has got so much in it. And in part 1, it's got the toolkit. So if I open that up, and the mindset toolkit, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how to work with our mindset, how to be accepting of where we are and not forcing a positivity that we absolutely do not feel. So again, I talked about EFT before, emotional freedom technique. And what I like about emotional freedom technique is that it's important as part of the framing of that sentence that you use, that you acknowledge the hard bit, the thing that's getting you down, even though I feel desperately sad that I'm not pregnant and I feel it in my heart right now or in my belly, I still love and accept myself. So that might seem like a big jump to go from, that to that, but it's an important jump because it acknowledges the pain of what our experience is right in the moment to nonetheless the prevailing feeling that you have for yourself, despite all of that, the foundation is nonetheless, despite all of that, I still love and accept myself. Because without that, every time there is a negative thought, you're chipping off bits of that sense of foundation of self-love that you have. A little bit gets chipped off because of some new thing or some terrible thought or whatever it is. No matter how true it is, it's still chipping away at that foundation of self-love. And so that's what I like about the EFT. It acknowledges the negative, and then it makes sure that you are reminding yourself of, I still love and accept myself, no matter what. It's unconditional love right there. And that's the kind of unconditional love that you will be providing to your baby in spades. So start with you. Affirmations for your journey. They're really useful. I like them. And you probably can't read them from there, but that's okay. So I love and accept my body exactly as it is today. And breathing and relaxation. So we did a couple of those, the 4, 7, 8. You might have noticed that I did it a little bit shorter because sometimes to hold the breath for a count of 7 can be a lot. And when you're already feeling a bit overwhelmed with your world, to hold for 7 can seem like too much. So I often do a shorter version of that. And in the same way, your version will be your version. So even though it's written there in black and white, 478, it's no, that doesn't work for me. Just do start with the 4 and then vary it. 7, 5. 5 is enough. And then what you find is that when you do it more often, that you can hold your breath, but you're not getting a medal for holding your breath any longer. So play with that. Okay. There's also a partner connection breathing. That's fun to do together. I would encourage you to do that. That's a lovely one, especially when you're feeling disconnected. Okay, there's visualization exercises there which you can play with, and they are easy to do. They're not like, oh, I have to set up a room just to do it. It's not like that at all. And then over there, more grounding exercises. So the safe space visualization is right at the top of the visualization exercises. And you set up a safe space by initially creating a safe space, a little corner on your chair, in your bed, wherever you are. You could even do it in the car, not driving, of course. And you would just close your eyes and you would take 3 deep breaths to just set the space. And then the second bit is you imagine a place where you feel comfortable, safe, and held. Generally, when we imagine a visualization as setting, we tend to encourage people to go to a place of nature. Even though you might be in your bedroom, that's not necessarily the place that you want to visualize. You want to be using nature as a resourceful place to situate yourself. By the beach, top of a mountain, near a pool, obviously private, it's just a space for one, and that's you. So imagine what that would look like. And then you start to use your senses, and this is nice. So you use all your senses as you sit in the space. You look around, you feel your feet on the ground, you feel your bottom part on the ground, wherever you are, nestle yourself in to make yourself comfortable. And then you look around and see what in your unique safe space that you've chosen. So you use your eyes to feast on what it is. And because it's your space, you can always be upgrading, editing it. So you make it as it suits you. And then you can close your eyes and then you can see what you hear. So you start to listen for the sounds that you can hear around you. And it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, whatever it is. And then you start to then alert your nose. What is it that you can smell? All of these things. And then the other one, so you're utilizing all your senses, is what can you taste? So probably not that much because you're sitting in a safe space. The inside of your mouth, maybe not that. Or you might pick a berry or something like that and taste that. Or imagine the taste of a lemon. So you play with all of that. And then at the end of all of that, what do you feel? So you situate yourself in your body. And what are you feeling after grounding yourself in this beautiful space? What are you then feeling? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then what you can do is you can focus on a particular point. It might be the water, it might be a tree, it might be a particular rock that has a shape that appeals to you. And then you would just focus on those things to become immersed and interested in the space that you've created and stay there for a few minutes and then claim that as your private sanctuary. And you can call it that, or you can use another expression if that suits you, but your own personal private sanctuary. And that's a very easy way of creating your safe space. So if you like, why don't we do that now? So I would encourage you now, if you do buy the Path to Fertility book, I'm going to say now that what is written there is not necessarily what we are doing in the podcast, because it's like breathing, right? You have your own unique breathing style. We all know how to breathe, but you will hold your breath for longer, breathe out for longer. And a visualization is exactly the same. You're going to make it up a little bit. So allow yourself to be flexible in how you do it and imagine it to be. Let's start. So just check if you have to rearrange your space, park yourself on your chair as comfortable as you can. And then when you're ready, I'm going to do something different with the breath, actually. I'm going to get you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. And then I want you to take all of the thoughts that are going on in your head, anything that's happening inside of your body. So anything at all, any distractions, any need to be thinking, or does somebody need me, any of that, worrying about what you're going to do afterwards, gathering it all up into the breath. Take a big breath in, hold it all up, and let it all go. Breathing it out through the mouth, just dispersing it, letting it go. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So again, gathering up any thoughts that are getting in the way that you just don't need to hang on to right now, any distractions, anything at all, gathering it all up into the breath. Hold, and breathing it all away. Just letting it all go, feeling your whole body relax, all the way from your head down to your feet. And one more time. When you're ready, again, gathering up anything that's left over, any residual stuff, anything at all, any tension in your fingers, anywhere in the body, gathering it all up into the breath. Hold and let it go. And just give yourself a wee shake. That feels good. Now you're ready. So imagine your unique sanctuary space. Give yourself a moment to imagine what that is. A place of nature, a place that you've been to before, a special holiday, maybe a special composite place that you are making up as you engage in this, or another sanctuary space that you have created for yourself before. So allow yourself to go there. Feel your feet on the ground in this space to really feel anchored and grounded. Feel the texture of the earth underneath your feet as your toes softly just knead into that space to land in your sanctuary. And then let your gaze come up from your feet, up your legs, up the length of your body, and up into your eyes, and then look around and see the space that you have created. Take a moment or more, a breath or more, to look around this beautiful space that you have created or are still creating in this moment. Seeing what you're seeing, enjoying the sight of this, knowing that this special place has been created for you, by you, and is your own private sanctuary to come to at any time you need calming, quietening, or place to simply be still. Look around, and then in a moment, I want you to pick a spot that looks like a good spot for you to sit, to stand if you wish, to enjoy this sanctuary space that you've just created. By a big tree, near a rock, a grassy patch, on the sand, wherever it is, settle yourself in. Take a breath or two, settling yourself into the spot, and then again casting your gaze at all that is in this beautiful, unique sanctuary that is for you, safe, peaceful, calm, and private. And now that you've seen all the various things, perhaps closing your eyes and begin to listen to the sounds in this space. The sounds of birds, perhaps, the wind, maybe the sea if you're near the sea, or any other sounds that are just right for this space. When that seems enough, again, keeping your eyes closed, start to notice the smells in this space, what you can smell. The smell of the sea, perhaps, if you're near the sea. Perhaps there is a smell on the air. There is a wind blowing in, something that smells pleasant. The smell of flowers near you, on bushes, whatever it is that you can smell. And take another breath and perhaps notice anything that you can taste. And if there isn't much to taste, then that's fine because you're sitting still in this moment. And then finally, sitting in this calm space, in this particular spot within your sanctuary, notice how you're feeling right now. How are you feeling in your body, in your mind, in your whole self as you comfortably sit in the safety, the containment of this private sanctuary of yours that you have created? And take a moment or more to enjoy whatever it is you feel, hopefully calmer, easier, more accepting, more kind, more at peace with yourself, or whatever it is that you are currently experiencing, and knowing that will change all of the time. But every time you return to this space, you're able to settle, to ground yourself, to come back to this home within a home of heart, so to speak, and to be calmer, to be more at peace, and to be settled. In a moment, coming back to the space where you are, taking a breath in, feeling your feet on the ground, your fingers moving, bringing yourself back to this space, wherever it is, wherever you're listening, and gently open your eyes. That was nice. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. There's so much that you can give yourself. It's just getting out of the crazy stuff that we get ourselves caught in. And that energy, that breath to surrender, which is what we do, is really important to do. We take all of that thinking, all of that tension, the needing to be needed, someone calling you, someone about to, what's the time again? All of that stuff, you just gather it all up in the breath, hold, and let it all go. So it's acknowledging that there is that stuff. It's not dismissing it, but it's acknowledging it and then just removing it out of your necessary peripheral vision because you don't need it right now. So that's what I would encourage you to do. And I hope these two things have been helpful for you to get yourself through this 2-week period of waiting, of intense waiting, which can feel like your very survival is being threatened because the outcome is so fundamental to what you're wanting for your future dreams. I completely understand that. But at the same time, you need to be able to support yourself through that experience so that you can hopefully enjoy the results at the end of it, especially if you're going to have to do it a couple more times after that. So this is a good method of building and cultivating your resilience to manage this type of intense stress. So I hope that's been helpful. Again, I've got all of this wonderful stuff in my little booklet. Oh, it's a bit more than a booklet, right? It's hefty. Look at it. And I love my cards. They are called the Fertile Heart Cultivating Hope. And that's what you're doing. You're cultivating hope. So these are really useful. So finding purpose. Yes, there's no going backwards. When I doubt myself, I realize my strength of purpose grows with each uncertain step forward. And that's the perfect card for us to end this podcast on, because that's what you're going through. Each and every time you have to weather this 2-week wait. Can I do it? Can I do it? And yes, you can, but give yourself the benefit of the doubt by allowing yourself to be supported in the best way possible. And I'm there to help you with that. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to the Healing Practice podcast with Claire Cleaver. If today's episode resonated, you're invited to continue the journey with Claire beyond the podcast. You'll find books, guided resources, workshops, and opportunities to work with Claire one-to-one at thehealingpractice.com.au. Whether you're seeking support, understanding, or a deeper connection to the season of life you're in, there's space there to explore at your own pace. Until next time, trust your body's wisdom, honour where you are, and move gently through the season you're living.